Ahoy!
Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Bottom of the Stream. My name is Adam.
And I'm Nick, and we're on a never-ending quest, but only once a week, to find hidden gems at the bottom of the next Netflix stream.
Indeed we are. How's the quest going this season, do you think, Nick?
I mean, I think the bad's been worse.
The bad's been really bad this year.
And I'm not sure the top's been quite as good as the last couple of series.
Do you think we've had a lot of mediocre films this season?
Yeah, I think there's a bigger sort of wedge in the middle of the stream table, isn't there?
Yeah, I feel like
that's
the couple
case.
of films that are at the top wouldn't be in the top 4 or 5 in other seasons.
I think that could be the case, yeah.
Strange, isn't it?
But there's still time.
Yeah, this is episode 19 of this season.
Okay. I mean,
we're getting there, though. We're getting right up to the end of the season, and the 4th season of Bottom of the Stream is coming to an end.
I know.
It's crazy. You know, the 4th season of Dexter's the best season, so got a lot to live up to.
Oh, we're not getting as bad as that went, are we?
Hopefully not. Jesus. How are you? What you been up to? Any gossip?
Bought a new doorbell. It's pretty exciting.
Oh, nice. Is it a smart one or just a bog standard?
No, it's just bog standard for now because, I'll plug in one because, why am I talking about this?
I don't know.
I
find it interesting because your doorbell's always been shit. Whenever I used to come round back in the day when I was allowed to, your doorbell's never been good.
Yeah, the children.
I'm happy that you've got a new one.
I've just selected the tone.
What does it do?
They've just gone for the traditional standard massive ding dong because they didn't like any of the sort of very cheap classical interpretations that seem to be on it. So
they've got a good taste. I think I'd have gone for a massive ding dong as well.
Well, yeah. Never change your ways.
I never will.
How about you?
To anything other than getting a new doorbell? I'm all right. I haven't really. I haven't got a lot to talk about, to be honest. I've not really done a lot.
I mean, that's not great being on a podcast.
Well, I've got a really weird film to talk about, but nothing's going on in my life other than this podcast. So it's just every day's like Groundhog Day, isn't it?
This is the highlight of my week, and that is no bad thing, I guess.
No, talking to you is the highlight of my every week, always has been.
Oh, you're too kind. I did nearly get a pre-podcast injury.
Oh no! Why? What happened?
Well, I'm recording in the playroom because it's quite warm by the radiator and pretty quiet in here, and the sight before me is just one of absolute devastation. I mean, there's Polly Pockets, there's Hatchimals, I can see Paddington Bear. There's a couple of dolls upturned.
Nice.
As I was entering the room, I did step on a Hatchimal, and
oh no, is it okay?
I think. I mean, I'm fine. Thanks for asking, but I think it may be a little bent out of shape.
Oh no! Are you barefoot podcasting?
I am. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm in shorts, t-shirt, and no shoes or socks.
I'm also barefoot podcasting.
It's the way forward.
This is a new trend. It's the new trend for social distance podcasting.
Absolutely.
Let's get it started. # barefoot podcasting.
Viva la revolution. Does it sound different because I'm in bare feet?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I could tell.
Yeah, I could as well from your timbre is slightly altered.
Oh, nice. Timbre, good word.
Have
you got any Netflix news?
I have, yeah. Have you?
Me too.
Or are you prompting me to say some?
Would you like to say some?
Yeah,
or would you like me to say some?
I'll say some first. I don't mind. One's not the first one's not news though. It's just it is news, but it's just news that something's arrived on Netflix, and it is Tom Hanks's new film, The News of the World.
Excellent. That's definitely in my plan for this weekend, I think.
Which is a Western. And Netflix bought it because it's not getting a cinema release.
No, it was supposed to be his next big Oscar grab, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
He wants an Oscar for it.
And he plays like a a gunman protecting a young girl, doesn't he? I think as they travel across
Yes, I believe
the American
so.
West.
Seems like an odd role for Tom Hanks to take.
I've seen
on.
the trailer. I mean, yeah, because you always think,
nice guy Tom Hanks.
The gritty Western.
Yeah, you don't think of him as like a grizzled cowboy, do you?
Not really, but I've seen the trailer a few weeks ago, and it does look good. So
yeah, it does look good. We'll check that out over the week. I'll check it out over the weekend, and I'll report back next week.
Sure. Me too. We'll compare notes.
I've committed to that now.
Okay.
Do you want me to do one?
Yes, go for
it. Here's a headline for you. Netflix is recreating Alice in Wonderland set at a music festival.
Okay, brilliant. I'm in. Tell me more.
It is going to be a modern-day retelling of the Alice in Wonderland story set against the backdrop of a music festival called Wonderland. It will also be a musical.
Oh, nice. So there's quite a lot going on
there. Singer and actress Sabrina Carpenter will take on the role of Alice.
Okay.
You'll know her from Girl Meets World. And she was also in Tall Girl, which is a Netflix original, I believe.
Yeah.
She is also producing the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it sounds odd, but it's coming. I don't know. I'm going to leave all comments until it's out, and then we'll see what we think. But it sounds interesting.
Yeah. Any way to spin an old classic, people are going to try it, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know quite what to make of it, but it's coming, so we'll see what happens.
Maybe she's going to, might not be a kid's film. Maybe she's just going to get totally, pinging her tits off on acid, and that's... and that's how she voyages into Wonderland.
Maybe indeed.
Right.
Don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, that one, I think.
Glow sticks and whistles send her a bit trippy.
I'm not so sure. We'll see. You got any more?
Yes.
Go on.
I think this is going to excite you.
Oh, nice.
So, sit comfortably. Do you remember what The Last Bus is?
Yes.
So, The Last Bus is a series coming to Netflix. It's going to be 10 parts. The synopsis describes it as an action-packed sci-fi road trip adventure. It's about a group of mismatched high school students who band together to face a fearsome new machine intelligence.
Ooh, sounds interesting.
Yesterday, February the 10th.
Yes.
So this is hot off the press.
Hot off the presses.
It started filming some exterior scenes in Bristol.
All right. Okay. Cool.
I know. I have shots in front of me on this news article, which was from the Bristol Post, which obviously I frequent, not living.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
But the reason we're so excited about it is because at least some of the episodes of this show are going to be directed by none other than Drew Casson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Him of Hungerford fame.
Yeah, the very same.
Wow.
Please,
interesting.
Go and check out our episode on Hungerford from earlier this series.
Yeah, check out the film because it's all right. No matter what Ross Cook says, it's all right.
I mean,
it's all right, Nick.
It's fine.
It's not terrible. I didn't say it was good. I said it was all right because it's all right. Our episode is incredible, but the film is all right.
Drew Casson directed it, and he's now
basically
got a
made it
proper show
himself in his
on
bedroom.
Netflix. Yeah.
Good for him. I'm happy for him.
The world's greatest leading man.
Yeah, definitely.
With such beautiful hair.
Oh, beautiful hair. The man of gorgeous hair. Good for him. I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
Let's keep our eye out for The Last Bus next year.
Will do. I'll add it to my looking forward to list.
Okay.
I don't have one of them, but if I did have one, it'd be on there. Do you know who Noah Baumbach is?
Yeah.
Do you?
Do I?
Do you?
I do, yeah.
Who is he?
He's a director.
He is a director. He directed
Marriage Story.
He directed Marriage Story and the Meyerowitz stories with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
He's just signed an exclusive deal with Netflix.
Oh, good boy.
Good boy. Yeah, it's it doesn't say for how long, I don't believe, in this story that I've not read. I just read the headline.
Well, I've done some proper research.
But he's got a film
coming. I've done some proper research, and that is... he's
got a film called White Noise coming.
This is his next film. Have you got the synopsis?
Nope.
Do you want it?
Yes, please.
So it's going to star Adam Driver, who obviously was in Marriage Story.
Yeah.
And he is going to play a professor of Hitler studies.
Oh, right, okay. Dark.
He's teaching at what is described in this synopsis as at a liberal college in Middle America, which sounds like a clash straight away.
It does.
Now, I had to read this a couple of times to double check because...
Well, I didn't read it at all, and you read it a couple of times. So
it then says, an airborne toxic event unleashes a lethal chemical cloud.
The band?
No. Driver and his wife must face the danger of death together.
Oh.
So I didn't see that coming.
No, not me. Did it sound alright? What do you think? I don't know, but I'm never sure about Adam Driver.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know. There's something about him I don't like.
I don't know what you want me to say. He's a good actor.
That's what you want. No, I do.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, I've got no.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm
there's something about him.
I'm up for him seeing him trying to avoid a toxic chemical cloud.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. An airborne toxic event.
Yeah.
I've seen them live.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have I think I might have done.
Probably with me.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like I have seen them live.
I think me and you...
They're like first album.
I think we did go. I think me, you and friend of the show, Mikey K, went to watch it. And possibly your sister.
Not sure.
First shout on the show
maybe.
for her.
And the last... No.
Oh no, I've just lost one of my news stories. Hold on. Keep talking.
Where did you leave it?
I clicked off the link.
Okay. I've got another one. Would that be convenient to help you out?
That would be convenient, yes.
Michelle Obama. The Obamas, they're another duo people that have signed
people.
Yeah, that have signed an exclusive Netflix deal. That was sort of last year, I think they did.
Yeah, a while ago now, wasn't it?
So there's a couple of documentaries that have been out under their sort of production company banner. But next month,
Camp was the biggest one, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, next month, Michelle Obama is actually going to be presenting a show on Netflix.
Oh, really?
It's a cooking show.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
With puppets. So I don't think she's going to be cooking the puppets.
I would hope not.
Frying
like
up
a really macabre Sesame Street.
Yeah, frying up Kermit's legs or something. I think they're helping her do the cooking.
Like we watched a really weird show like that once before. I wonder if it'd be like
the goth one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
That's on Netflix. That was quite fun. Michelle Obama is presenting a cooking show called Waffles and Mochi.
Right.
Which are the name of the two puppets. And it hits Netflix on the 16th of March, and it is trying to promote healthy eating for 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
It sounds really good fun. I'm excited.
I'm not sure I buy your enthusiasm for this one, but there you go. I'm sure it'll be a massive hit.
Cool. I found my other bit of news.
Do it. News me.
Do you know who Judd Apatow is?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Good. I'm going to start all my news stories like that now. I find it quite
He is
fun.
also a film director.
He is a film director. He's got a new film coming to Netflix.
Good.
Have you heard about it?
Good boy. No, which one is this?
It's called The Bubble. It's a pandemic-inspired comedy.
Okay.
It's about a cast of actors filming a film, but being in a bubble in a hotel whilst they're doing it, and how their lives, how they get on with themselves.
Sure. There'll be a few of them.
The cast has been announced today.
Okay.
This is straight off the presses as well. We'll star Karen Gillan, who is pretty much in everything these days.
Yeah.
Alongside Maria Bakalova, who was in the second Borat film recently.
Yes.
Also part of The Bubble are Pedro Pascal.
Again, in everything.
Everything.
He has got a busy diary.
He has indeed. He's just been announced as playing Joel in the Last of Us TV show from HBO as well. Fred Armisen, Keegan-Michael Key, Peter Serafinowicz.
Nice.
And most randomly, David Duchovny.
Oh, brilliant.
It's described as a meta-comedy focusing on a group of actors who are trying to finish work on a film and are stuck living in a hotel together in a pandemic bubble while doing so.
Are they playing themselves?
I don't know. It doesn't say that. I kind of hope they are.
Yeah, me too.
Apatow will direct and has written the movie alongside South Park writer Pam Brady.
Okay, cool.
His wife and daughter are always in it, but they're always in his films as well.
Is it Leslie Mann?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of appears in all of his films.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. It sounds quite fun. Could go either way with Judd Apatow. Most of his films do, don't they?
They do go away, yeah.
I'm done. I'm newsed out.
Me too. Good news sesh.
Well, apart from mentioning the...
hello.
What's it came today to Netflix, that one about the hotel. What's it called? Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecile Hotel.
Yes.
I'm making you laugh a lot tonight. I'm quite proud of myself.
You are, yeah.
That's arrived on Netflix today and it's supposed to be incredible. So
I'm definitely going to watch that. I've got a few days off next week, so
nice.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that. Yeah, I've seen, like, just like over the last couple of years, a couple of those famous videos that are involved with that story, and it's definitely is going to be a big hit again. I think that one.
One thing, I think you're right. One thing I do want to mention is, whilst I was looking for Netflix news today, I got the winner of the second season of Blown Away spoiled to me.
Ha!
I'm very annoyed by
Unlucky.
People who put spoilers in headlines. Annoys me. Don't do it, journalists.
So, what is the etiquette then on spoilers for a show like that, a reality show? It all gets released at once. How long do you wait? Because how long's it been on?
I think spoilers are... It's been out there for a little while now. I think spoilers are fine, but don't put them in the headline. Let people click through if they want to find out. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think I'm asking too much. But the guy who's won it, or girl who's won it, no spoilers here, is the person who's my favourite, so I'm still going to watch it.
Fine. How many have you got left?
2 or 3, I think.
Oh no, you were so close.
I know, yeah. I was really annoyed. Have you watched anything good at the top of the stream?
Yeah, I've watched a few things this week.
Okay, cool.
What should we start with? I'll start with a movie I watched last Saturday.
Okay, cool.
And it was... I think it's new to Netflix. I remember it vaguely coming out a couple of years ago, and I think it was a pretty big flop.
Okay.
But I watched Hotel Artemis.
Guess what I watched last Saturday night?
Did you really?
I did, yeah. Genuinely did.
Weird.
Very strange. We're more connected than you think. I don't know why. It just appealed to me to watch it, and it isn't really my kind of thing. But I quite enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. I mean,
I thought it was really good fun.
It was on my radar previously because I can remember, like I say, around the time it came out, I follow Dave Bautista on Twitter, and I remember him tweeting a lot about it. And
he's in it. He didn't dislike it. He's in it.
Yeah. With Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
And other people. Jeff
Zachary
Goldblum
Quinto.
pops up. Yeah. And who's the guy of It's Always Sunny? Charlie... someone?
I don't know.
Day, is it?
Charlie Day is a person.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's good fun, isn't it? It's a little bit silly, but
yeah. It's basically Jodie Foster runs a hospital for criminals. So there's a succession of wounded
criminals.
Criminals have just come off the street from robberies or just the general rioting that's going on. And she's sort of trying to fix them up and patch them up, and
it's like a secret club, isn't it? It's masquerades as a hotel, but it's actually
I really enjoyed it.
Hospital. Yeah, I did as well. I definitely recommend it. It isn't even my sort of thing normally, but I actually did quite enjoy it.
I don't think Dave Bautista gets enough credit either. He's really forged out a proper good career, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been in some of these. Well, he is in the most successful film of all time.
No, but he's
actually quite good as well.
Credit, does he, for how good he is?
No, he doesn't. You're right.
I thought he was great in this.
Because he's such an appalling wrestler. But no,
he was good at the talking bits, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I always enjoy him in films. He's really good in the Guardians of the Galaxy films. And yeah, I've never not enjoyed him in a film. I've not enjoyed him in a wrestling ring quite a few times, but I've never not enjoyed him in a film.
Yeah, it was good. Worth a watch, I think.
Definitely. Agreed. Recommended from both of us at bottom of the stream. Maybe we should have like a recommended tag on Netflix where we recommend films.
Yeah, give us the books, Netflix.
Yeah. Recommended by Adam and Nick.
Yeah, like our seal of approval.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I've watched this week.
Oh, okay. I've watched a couple more things.
Okay, shoot.
So, finally started Snowpiercer.
Oh, yeah.
Watched like 4 episodes. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I know we've talked about it before on the show.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Really? I gave up on it. I really struggled with it.
How far did you get?
A little bit further than that. Probably 5 or 6, maybe 7.
Yeah. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I didn't expect it to be like a detective show for the first few episodes, but that's kind of where we're up to. Yeah, good. Think really, really enjoyable.
I quite enjoyed the first three or 4, and then I just fell away from it a little bit. In that time, I recommended it to Jordan from Grief Burrito. He now absolutely loves it, and I fell away from it.
I'm going to catch you up, Jordan.
Anything else?
I just want to catch him and tickle his beard a bit.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen his beard lately? It's incredible.
Yeah.
He's gone full on lock. He's too scared to shave it himself, so he's just let it go. Because he's a big wuss.
Ah, lovely beard. Right.
Lovely guy. Lovely podcast.
Goes
Check out Grief Burrito. It's brilliant. They're doing 2 episodes a week now. It's ridiculous.
The only other thing I wanted to briefly mention, and again, no spoilers here, I just want to say on record how incredible WandaVision is.
Oh, my goodness, it is good. It's so good. I find myself looking forward to watching it like as soon as it comes out.
And I know we had a bit of a debate in the Discord this week, didn't we, about where people stand on having a weekly episode versus it being there all the time.
Yeah, binging.
But I have really enjoyed it being there on a Friday evening as I'm properly excited to watch this.
I agree.
Over the last month.
I think it's been designed like that as well.
Oh, it's just been outstanding.
Yes, it is the best TV show about at the minute.
Yeah, gripping stuff. And it's definitely really nice to not really have a clue where it's going.
So entertaining. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. It's brilliant. Shall we run through the Netflix top 10?
Yeah, let's do it.
In at number 10 this week is I Am a Killer. I think that was in the top 10 last week, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Death row inmates convicted of a capital murder give first-hand accounts of their crimes in this documentary series. Number 9 is Baywatch.
Right. So, a few words on Baywatch.
Go on. It's not the TV show, it's the film, by the way.
It's all right.
It's fine.
It got absolutely slammed when it came out.
Yeah.
And
no
I think
reason.
It was no reason. I think it was very much just like the critics and the papers were, it's time to have, we've always been quite nice to Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron. Well, this time we're letting them have it. Because it's no worse than most of their other films.
It's not. It's no different to most of their other films. It's good fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Check it out. It's on Netflix. Number 8 is The Vampire Diaries. That's sticking around in the top 10.
That'll be there for months now.
It will.
Now it's back on Netflix.
People will be doing rewatches of the whole thing. There's 8 seasons of it. Number 7 is Superstore.
Yeah, I watched a couple of those actually. I forgot to
have you watched any more of those?
Yeah, watched watched one last night just before I came up to bed, and it was the best one. It was all the staff got stuck in the store. It was about episode 9 or 10. It was really funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I might have to check it out. I've never even heard of it before this.
No, I had neither. Like I said, I think I mentioned it the other week. I just don't think it's ever been on over here, or if it has, I've totally missed it. But yeah, I think it'll get better as well as I sort of get to know the characters a bit. But it's a promising start from what I've seen. Yeah,
definitely. Number 6 is Snowpiercer. Just mentioned that you've started watching it. Number 5 is Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Awesome.
Which is a Teen Titans superhero film from 2018. Feeling left out of the superhero movie craze, the Teen Titans plan to boost their popularity by turning their supervillain Slade into their arch nemesis. How's that in the top 10? Top 5? How's that happened? It's 3 years old for a start.
There's kids at home.
Yeah, true. Very true. There's no other kids' films, though. Why are they picking that one?
I don't know. It's new. I don't know.
4, still holding its place in the top 5, is Bridgerton.
Yep.
Crazy times. Number 3 is News of the World, Tom Hanks' new film. Looks like a rugged old man in that poster.
That's as good going as it has been there less than 24 hours, I believe.
Yeah. Number 2 is Firefly Lane.
Okay, yeah.
We talked about that briefly last week. And at number 1 is Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Hotel Cecil.
Oh, but that equally impressive.
Yeah, because it's again only been there for a day. So, notorious Cecil Hotel grows in infamy when guest Eliza Lamb vanishes. From the creator of the Ted Bundy tapes, a dive into crime's darkest places. It's 4 episodes, an hour each. I'm definitely going to get on that at some point this weekend.
Same.
That's done. That's all the news. That's all the watches and all the Netflix top 10.
Just before we do move on to the movie, I wanted to give our Discord another plug because I have been chuckling all afternoon.
We did have some fun conversations in that video.
I don't want to give anything away because I want to encourage people to come in and join in the conversation. But a couple of ideas came up today for TV programs.
One especially is a goer. I'm prepared to pitch it.
Shall I mention the singing one?
Yeah, do it.
I've been laughing all afternoon about the concept of basically stealing the Masked Singer idea. But everyone who sings has to wear a mask of a famous Brian. Therefore, it's called The Masked Brian Singer. And some of the suggestions have been excellent.
Yeah, agreed. It's kept me entertained at work today. It's been very funny. We have a lot of fun in that Discord, so yeah, come in and check it out. It's dead easy to do. There's a link in the bottom of the show notes. You just click that link. If you've not got an account, it'll set you one up. If you have got an account, you'll just get straight in there. Come and join us. It's good fun.
Yeah, come and have a chat.
Definitely. So, are you ready to talk about this week's film?
I am.
Okay, this week we watched a film called Dark Light. I'm pretty sure all the way through this I'm going to call it Dead Light because I've been saying that all week to people. It's from 2019. It is a 15. It runs for exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes. Currently rated at 4.2 on IMDb. Go on.
No, so I was just going to say that sort of, in terms of an IMDb rating, is comparable to... What? Was DeadCon around that? Or was that lower?
That was a little bit lower. It was 2 point something, I think.
Oh, okay. Fine. It's
probably up and around. It's our kind of wheelhouse. It's the lower end of what we do. Most things we do are 5 or 6. Stars Jessica Madsen as a character called Annie. You'll know her. She's in Bridgerton for a start, so you might know her from that.
Oh, was she? No, yeah. I didn't spot
that. She's probably most famous. She's in the new Leatherface film. Well, not new.
Wait, I can picture her now. Yes.
Can you?
Yeah.
She's in Leatherface. She's also in Rambo: Last Blood. Also stars a little kid called Opal Littleton. She plays Emily, Annie's daughter. She's Annie's daughter. You won't have recognised her from anything else because she's a kid and she's not been in anything else. And lastly stars a guy called Ed Brody who plays Paul, Annie's estranged husband. Again, not really that famous, hasn't really done anything. Incidentally, there is a character in this called Walter. Do you remember Walter?
Yes.
Do you know where we've seen him before?
No.
I'd be very impressed if you did.
You've got one over on me, I don't.
I'd be very impressed if you got it. Walter played a zombie in The Resort.
Okay, yeah. I'm never getting that.
I just noticed it on his IMDb. I thought it was interesting to mention. He played a zombie in The Resort. Written and directed by a guy called I don't know how you pronounce his name. Padraig Reynolds. Padraig Reynolds, who, again, hasn't really done much of anything before that you're going to have heard of, so I've not mentioned it. Do you have a one-word review of Dark Light? Nearly said Dead Light.
Signs 2.
Wow, that's giving it some credit.
Well, I like that you've assumed that.
Where does this film start, Nick?
In a farmhouse.
It does. Foggy house, I've written.
In the middle of nowhere. Well, there's a cornfield. There's always a cornfield.
Of course there is. They might as well have called this film Horror Cliche.
There is a cornfield. There's no baseball diamond. We are in, proper horror trope
Yeah, there's so many cliches in this film. I'll try and list them off as we go through. What happens in this house?
There's a woman, and she's not happy, right?
She's not.
Because she is barreling around with a shotgun. See what I did there? She's looking for Emily. Yep. We know this because she screams Emily a lot. Yeah.
Emily, though, does not want to be found.
She certainly does not. She tries to escape out a window, little Emily, who is the little girl.
Yeah.
She smashes her hand.
Yeah.
She's bleeding everywhere. And I was slightly confused, but it turns out this farmhouse has got a lift.
Yes.
Like a proper lift.
Yeah.
Or elevator to our friends across the pond. And that is where Emily goes and hides.
Yeah, she goes and hides in the elevator.
It's a proper old-fashioned sort of grated door thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like an old-fashioned hotel kind of elevator, but only for one person.
Yes.
The lady who we later find out is Annie, her mother. She's kind of scrambling around the house, as you said. She finds Emily in this lift, but as she does, she shoots a dude. That's what I've written.
Yeah. She turns and shoots someone.
Without even looking.
Instantly regrets it, yeah.
And then we see from her perspective, she kind of turns towards Emily, and Emily's like, "Mum, no!" And then she shoots the gun again. So it seems like she shot the kid as well.
No, I thought she clearly aimed above her.
Well, I think we were supposed to think she would shot the kid.
Yeah, I think we were. I didn't buy it.
There's a lot in this film you didn't buy, Nick. Cut to the next scene. There's police everywhere. There's blue and red flashing lights all over the house. Annie's being arrested. The man is still alive. This man turns out to be Paul, Annie's ex-husband and the father of Emily.
He is getting tied to a stretcher and put in the back of an ambulance. It doesn't look in a good way.
It doesn't look in a good way at all. It looks like he's just been shot at point blank by a shotgun.
Yeah, I want to be very specific about this because it will be relevant later on.
It certainly will. Then we hit into the title card, basically. Cut from the title card and a few credits to a car. There's a car pulling up to the same house. And it turns out this is previously in time.
Yeah, we're flashing back.
We're flashing back to when when Annie and Emily first moved into this house. Yeah. And it turns out that it's the house that Annie grew up in.
Yeah, it's her childhood home.
Yeah, and the house is like a time capsule. Nothing's changed for 30 odd years.
Right. Yeah, the timeline doesn't work here straight away, right?
Yes.
Because I mean, let's say looking from the age of Annie, she is 25 to 30.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
Her daughter is 10, I would say.
Yeah, roughly.
So even if we absolutely say she had this kid really early.
Yeah.
She has not been away from this house for very long.
No.
And why is it just full of Victorian wardrobes and beds and like the house looks like it's not been lived in for 40 years.
Yeah.
And it just didn't sit right with me. I'm like, you've not grown up in this house. I'm not buying it straight away.
Maybe your mother grew up in this house, but you certainly didn't. Because she says later on that her mum has recently died.
Yeah.
And they had this lift put into the house when her mother went ill because she couldn't use the stairs anymore. So it hasn't even been that long.
So it's not even been empty?
No. But Emily's never been there before. And it's like you said, it's like it's been abandoned for 50 years.
And then she takes Emily up to her like, this was my room when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's still got like a kid's bed in it.
Yeah.
And there's creepy dolls everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, none of what I'm seeing lines up with what you're telling me.
Completely. It's mental.
And you've just lazily kitted out this house to look like a horror set.
Yes.
And it put me on a bad foot right away. Because I'm like, this is terrible attention to detail.
This film is just cliche after cliche after cliche. There's no story here at all. We'll get into it more, but there's no story here. It's a scary old house, a creepy kid, a cornfield, a scarecrow, horrible sheriff. Every horror movie cliche you can think of is in this film. It's ridiculous. Yeah. You might already be guessing my thoughts on this film, but we'll get to it as we go through. And we'll come to it at the end. That night, the first night they move in, Annie gets woken up in the night by a noise.
It's more than a noise.
Well, yeah, it's some banging and clattering and scratching, and
it's someone
basically somebody's in the house,
in the wall, isn't it?
Somebody's in the walls of the house. Another horror movie cliche. She goes down to investigate. She grabs a torch and she finds the front door open, and then she sees something move under a door.
Yeah.
And then the most confusing cut in any film ever happens, because we cut to a sheriff station, and Annie's being interviewed by a sheriff.
It's pretty brutal.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. What? How many timelines are in this film? They start off by saying that Emily's missing.
Yeah.
And that Annie's ex-husband Paul thinks that she's responsible for that.
Because she shot him.
So this is following on...
shot at the daughter. Yeah.
So this is following on from the opening scene of the film. So I've written here, we've got 2 timelines going on.
But it's literally just that one line. What you've just said, that's all that happens.
Yeah, that's all that happens.
And then it goes back to the flashback.
Yeah. We cut back to the house from there, and the dad shows up. Paul shows up.
Yeah, he's checking they've moved in okay.
Checking that they're okay, yeah. Annie's not pleased to see him at all, because it turns out he was cheating on her whilst her mum was dying. And then he leaves and he says, I'll come back on Friday. So he obviously doesn't live too far away. So I don't know how far these people have moved. It doesn't appear that they've moved very far.
No. They're in the middle of nowhere, but they're not far away from each other.
And then one of the most nonsensical scenes that I've ever seen in a film happens. Because they decide... Obviously, these people have never watched a horror film in their life before.
Yeah, talk about bad cuts, but this next one coming up is right up there.
Annie and Emily decide they're going to go and play some games in the cornfield at night. So they get a flashlight each and they go and play flashlight. That's a whole different film. They go and play flashlight tag in a cornfield at night, because of course they do. Why wouldn't you? I'm terrified of cornfields. I wouldn't even go anywhere near one at night. I wouldn't go near one in the day. So who was playing flashlight tag? Growing up a Stephen King fan makes you scared of cornfields.
Sure. You don't even like it in a tin, do you?
No, I don't, actually.
When I threw that tin at you, you moved right quick.
I don't move quick ever, and I did move quick. So the idea of this game is that you run around this cornfield, and if you spot the other person, you shine your torch on them, and that's tag. Then Annie loses track of where Emily is, and this huge bright light shines in Annie's face.
Yeah.
Like somebody's turned a floodlight on, and she screams at Emily, turn your light off, and it's like, that's clearly not Emily's torch.
Quite obviously. It's like an aeroplane light.
Yeah, it really is, right in her face.
On you.
So the torch goes off, but now she can't find Emily at all. The reason she can't find Emily is because for some inexplicable reason, Emily's on the roof of the house.
This made no sense. It was a terrible cut, because it then cuts to the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hang on, we just saw her on the roof. We didn't see her get her mother go to rescue her. And her being stood on the roof bore no effect on the story or any of the events later on in the movie.
It was pure nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
Like you say, it then cuts to the next morning, and the sheriff's in the house now. The sheriff is another lady, and they're in the house together, her and Annie. And the sheriff's kind of talking to Emily, and she's not talking back. She's gone all quiet. Emily claims that she doesn't know how she got on the roof or what the lights were that her mum had seen.
Yeah.
The sheriff does not buy any of this. She's not interested in the slightest. And so she leaves. She just says, right, I don't believe you. I'm going.
She doesn't, to be fair, she doesn't say I don't believe you. She's like, oh, if you need anything, call me back.
Yeah, but she didn't mean it.
No, probably not. I then really like this next scene in a totally, I found it funny but wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Because, again, no flow through whatsoever. We just cut to Annie later in the evening watching a YouTube video. She's found an internet crackpot.
Yeah, because she goes on Google and she searches for earth groaning as the first thing she Googles.
Which we haven't heard any of.
And then the second thing she Googles is your child being stalked?
Yeah. And then
okay,
it
and
takes
she finds
us
this
straight to this video of this like conspiracy theory dude who basically says, "Oh yeah, there's a secret invisible lizard species that stalks kids."
Which is literally the first search result that comes up.
Yeah.
And turns out is what she's experiencing.
Yeah.
It's mental.
It's so fucking lazy.
It's one of the laziest films I've ever seen. Outside the house that night, there's some more. They look like torchlights in the cornfield, don't they?
Sure.
So she sends Emily up to her room and she says, "Go up to your room, lock your door. While you do that, I'm going to go outside with this kitchen knife." And she starts shouting at the cornfield. That's all I can describe it as. She doesn't know what's out there. And she's like,
leave.
Yeah, she's like, "Turn your lights off." And they do. The lights just go off. And when she turns around to go back to the house, she can see a torch light being shone in the house. And it's going from her bedroom to Emily's bedroom in that sort of direction.
Yeah, because Emily's in the window of her room.
And the torch is heading towards her. She runs in at full pelt, but there isn't anything there. So she calls the sheriff, and the sheriff comes out again. Again, no, she doesn't really buy it. She's not having it.
She's like, "Yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry."
Yeah, and then just as she's leaving, Paul turns up again.
Yeah.
So he kind of takes charge a little bit. Then we get a quick cut back to this police interview that's going on.
Yeah, and this time the sheriff has turned. So in the future, the sheriff's turned, and she's like, basically, "You're a fucking bitch."
Yeah.
These things that you claim to see don't exist. Yeah, you're going down.
Yeah, you've killed your kid, or where's your kid? You've hidden your kid somewhere. Cut back from there to Annie explaining everything that's going on to Paul.
And he's horrible to her as well.
Yeah, he doesn't believe it either.
He says, "You're mad like your mum."
Yeah, basically. It turns out her mum hung herself. Yeah. And because of that, Annie's previously had a nervous breakdown. All this feels like it's happened quite recently.
Yes, definitely.
And then Emily walks in and she's absolutely caked in blood. She's got a nosebleed that's literally like her nose has exploded all over herself.
What's with the nosebleeds?
I don't know.
Never explained.
No, happens a few times, never explained once. Again, it's another cliche, isn't it?
Yeah. But no one asks her. So as parents, they don't say to her, "Why
what the hell's happened to your face?"
Happened? Yeah. I've just written in massive capital letters at this point in my notes, "Why haven't they left the house?" Right? Not only why haven't they left the house, but the ex-husband, who has now been back 3 times,
keeps leaving them
at no
there.
point has said, "Come back and stay at my house."
No.
Or, "I'll put you in a hotel." This guy is an absolute train wreck.
It really is.
These characters are not real people.
No, they're not. It's so crazy. It's like, because Paul does say this, but Paul sorts out Emily's face, and the whole time he's doing it, he's staring Annie out. And then as he leaves, because he leaves, he's like, "Right, I'm going now. See you later." But as he leaves, he says, "I don't want Emily living with you anymore." But he doesn't do anything about that.
No,
he doesn't take Emily with him when he leaves. And at no point does he do anything about it. So what she does, she goes into this cupboard and finds a camera, and a monitor.
Baby monitor. Yeah.
Baby monitor. Because, of course, there's one of them in the house. So she sets that up. And a taser in the same box.
I always keep mine together.
Yeah, always keep your tasers with your baby monitors. Yep. It's just like miscellaneous electrical items.
Yeah.
So she sets up the camera in Emily's bedroom to kind of watch her as she sleeps. But for no reason, because they both wake up in the night because they hear a noise, and they end up deciding to sleep in the same bed anyway.
Sure.
Annie hears this banging again in the night, so she gets up to go to the bathroom. So she heads to the bathroom. While she's in the bathroom, the lights go out, and she turns to see a being of some description heading into her bedroom.
Yeah.
And so she like pegs it to the bedroom door. The door slams in her face. There's loads of lights going on inside the bedroom. Then the door opens and Emily's gone. She calls the sheriff again. As you do. So the sheriff heads over to the house. As the sheriff's driving towards the house, Emily's standing in the middle of the road. So nearly gets run over by the sheriff.
Yeah, she's bleeding again.
Yeah, her nose is bleeding again. So the sheriff's like, right, come in the car. I'll take you back home. Because she doesn't think she's right to be taken away either. And Emily actually says, please don't take me home.
So what does she do?
Takes her home.
Yeah.
So she ignores that completely because she's shit at her job. When they get back, Annie's waiting outside for them. Annie says to Emily, how did you get out? She's like, I don't know how I got out. And then we cut away again. Because every time this film looks like it's going to explain something to you, we cut back to this police interview. And the sheriff's asking her, why have you brought 2 shotguns and a 38? And
yeah,
because why have you? And then we get a flashback to the flashback.
Yeah, but
why has she brought 2 shotguns? I'll tell you why she's brought 2 shotguns, because the story needed it.
Yeah, and I know this is really getting into the weeds, and probably no one's ever talked about this movie in such detail.
Not even the people who made it.
On a farm in the middle of America, with no one near you. What's unusual about having a couple of guns?
Yeah. It's just...
I suppose really what, if they'd have spent any time on this, really it should have been the sheriff saying, did you buy these guns with the intention to shoot your husband?
Yeah, or because these guns that are in this gun cabinet in this farmhouse, where have they gone?
That would have made
more
sense.
Sensible. So then we get a flashback to the flashback. So we go back to the very beginning scene of the film now, where she shot at Emily. Yeah. It turns out she wasn't shooting at Emily. She was shooting at the monster that was standing behind Emily in the lift.
Yeah, the lift alien. That's what I've called it.
And that's the first time we actually get to see a full body shot of this monster, which actually don't look too bad.
I've got to say, yeah, as in, because it is a guy in a suit.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like a monster. Effect. It's got a light for a head.
Yeah, and his sort of teeth are drooling from the fangs, and
yeah,
it's all right.
The monster design isn't bad. Just after she shoots it, it vanishes with Emily, and that's where the kid's gone. We go back to the police interview room. She tells the sheriff that something not human took Emily, which is not the best thing to say because it makes you sound like a crackpot.
No, because a couple of times both her ex-husband and the sheriff have sort of hinted to Annie, again, subtlety of a sledgehammer in this movie. Look, your mother had mental health problems, and basically calling her crazy.
Yeah.
And it's getting hinted at here, isn't it? So just totally dismissive of her, really.
Yeah. So the sheriff decides she's going to charge her with a crime. She arrests her, charges her with a crime, and just sends her to jail, because you can do that. As they're getting into the back of the police wagon to go to jail, the sheriff's like, just stop lying, we know you've killed her.
This was so unprofessional.
It was ridiculous. It was like, just confess, and you're going to jail anyway. She doesn't do that because she hasn't done anything. And then, so the police wagon drives off with her in the back, another criminal female in the back, and a policeman.
Yeah.
And they're driving along. It's night time because that's when you transport prisoners.
It's very rainy.
It's chucking it down. There's a cow in the road.
Yeah, of course.
Just on a bridge. There's not any cow fields anywhere around, and it's on a bridge. So
bloody cow is the prime plot device at this point in the movie.
So they swerve to miss this cow, and the truck drives off the bridge. In what I've written here is the slowest crash since Hungerford.
It really slowly and carefully rolls.
Really, as if they wanted to right, we'll just pick that back up and pretend we didn't do that. There's no damage to that car.
Yeah, we need to recover this because we've got to get it back to the higher place tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Unbelievably, despite this most delicate of crashes,
everybody's dead.
The 2 drivers, or the 2 guys in the front, are dead.
Yeah.
The back doors blow open.
They don't. Annie bashes the back doors open.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, this is what I'm really confused about. What's coming up?
And everyone out the back is kind of gone. We see Annie walk out.
They're both there. When she walks out, 'cause she takes the handcuff keys off the policeman in the back of the van and gets her handcuffs.
So they're dead as well at this point.
They're dead at this point in the back of the lorry, in the back of the truck.
We didn't see their bodies till later, did we?
No, like a mile downstream.
So everyone
there's been
in this truck
has died except for Annie. Annie gets,
apart from our protagonist,
who has not got a mark on her.
No.
So she gets the keys from the prison guard, uncuffs herself, bashes the back doors of the wagon open, and leaves. She basically swims across the river and gets out. And that's the last we see her for a little bit. The next morning, The sheriff and her deputies find this truck.
Yeah, there's no like, oh, this police wagon didn't turn up at the
Yeah, they don't find
jail.
it until the next morning. And the policeman, the deputy man, who's a nondescript man, describes there's 2 bodies in the van and nobody in the back. He thinks they've washed away. Unless there's been some sort of tsunami overnight. Because the van isn't in the water. I'm so confused about this.
This is what I mean. It's just so, again, just so lazy.
Yeah.
It's just what you see in the next scene doesn't make sense to where the last scene was left.
No, not at all. Not at all. Annie heads back to the house. She breaks into her own house and mentally has a bath.
Yeah, she has a bath.
So I'm just going to have a bath now.
Yeah.
I'm an escaped convict who's gone home, as if that's not the first place they'll look.
Yeah, but they didn't.
No, they didn't. And then she gets tooled up. So the guns are hidden under a floorboard in the bedroom.
Sure.
So she grabs the second shotgun that she's now had in this film, because obviously we're now post when she shot her husband.
Yeah.
So that shotgun would have been taken away. So this is why she needed 2 shotguns, because we still need a shotgun. And she takes that and she sits in front of the lift. So she's like, I'm going to stand guard at this lift all night until something happens. Instantly falls asleep.
She's like Dave in Deadcon.
Yeah, exactly like
No one can keep watch.
She wakes up in the middle of the night. She can hear some banging going on upstairs. This bit I didn't understand at all. I think, was it a dream?
Yes,
yeah, it was. So she goes upstairs. There's a chest making a banging noise.
A toy chest.
Which she opens. And it's a tunnel. Which she drops a ball down, but the ball never lands. So it's obviously a deep tunnel. And then something inside the tunnel grabs her head and she wakes up.
Yeah, it's totally nonsensical, really.
In the next scene is where the police find the bodies downstream from where the van crashed. How this has happened is beyond me still, but they take note that Annie's body isn't there.
But they don't go to her house.
Nope. Why would she go back there? She doesn't. She heads to this conspiracy theorist's house, who apparently only lives around the corner.
Yes, I have a transport question shortly.
Because she googled this thing, and luckily the man who's the expert on these alien creature monsters lives around the corner from her. And somehow he knows who she is.
This happens a couple of times, doesn't it? Where obviously she must have... Again, I'm putting two and two together and saying it's because she's been in the news. Or it's a small town. You're that woman who shot your kid. I mean, the news doesn't report that sort of detail less than 24 hours.
No.
But they all know her.
Yeah. And he says, I've been following your case. And I'm glad somebody is. So basically, she describes the monster to him. He says, does it look like this? And draws an image of exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
he says, he's really like, it's like with fake modesty, he's like, oh, this won't be a very good drawing. And then it's
basically a photo of the monster.
No perfect production notes of what this monster looks like.
Suddenly her nose starts bleeding. This is a first. And she has some sort of crazy fit and blacks out.
And then no, sorry, it's in a short while, but basically he goes, you're bleeding, that means we haven't got long left.
For what?
Till what? Again, never referenced again.
No. So while she's blacked out, Annie has a dream of Emily lying on a rock.
I just thought this was just a cut to her.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a dream.
Well, either or.
You might be right. She turns out she was lying on a rock later, so you might be right.
Just chilling on a rock with an alien.
She kind of wakes up from her coma, whatever she was in. Walter describes the aliens at this point as a monster. They're an extinct humanoid who eat children for food, basically. And what they do is harvest a child's inner light.
They're basically... I can't believe I'm saying this. They are the second energy light sucking demon that we've seen this series on this show.
Yeah, exactly right.
After the energy vampires in Life Force.
Yeah. Walter comes out of a stat now that worldwide 800,000 kids disappear every year. This fact is actually true, backed up by stats. And then he's like, right, I need you to come and follow me and look at something. And he leads her into...
because she says, will you come and help... You're the first person who believes me. Will you come and help me trap it?
Yeah.
I want to get my daughter back.
And he's like, yeah, but before we do that, I need to show you something. So he takes her to a separate room in his house. I think it was his garage, probably. And he locks her up.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't let you kill it. I've been studying it my entire life. And I finally got a chance to prove that it exists. So you've got to stay here now. I'm going to go and catch it.
Yeah.
And
then he just goes, oh, I'm sorry about your daughter.
Yeah. And he's got loads of missing child posters on his wall because he collects them. Yeah. And then Walter heads to the house.
Yeah. I loved Walter. I thought it was brilliant because it doesn't go well for him.
It really is. It's absolutely incredible what happens to him here.
He has spent his whole life building up to this.
Yeah. So
this is, years he's been looking. Do these things exist? No one believes me. People think I'm a crackpot. Trying to put together all this evidence. Somehow I know what they look like. And this is my moment. I finally know where I can see one of these creatures.
Yeah. So
he must have a great plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
He must be armed to the teeth.
He would not go in without a plan, would he?
For his whole life. Yeah.
So he gets into the house. He instantly sees a light and a monster attacks him. So he runs away in his car.
Yeah, it slashes his face.
Whilst he's in his car, driving there's one in the back seat of his car that attacks him whilst he's driving, which causes him to crash into a tree.
Yeah.
Where he gets out of his car and escapes to a train yard. Where has this train yard come from? No idea.
We've seen all these overhead shots of how this farmhouse is in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by fields and corn.
Yeah.
He was in this car for
less than a minute.
30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah. And now he's at a train yard. I've actually written at this point, what was this dude's plan?
I put, he has no plan. He gets slashed and then mind raped in a car.
Yeah. So when he gets to the train yard, he gets on a train and he hides on this train. And this monster's looking for him. And then it finds him. And then
he doesn't really hide. He just
sits on one of the seats. And then it finds him and then it kills him. And the next day, the police find his body underneath the train. And
Walter. You've blown it.
You've completely blown it. And then he turned into a zombie and headed to the resort. So the police were like, well, we've still not been to Annie's house. But what we should probably do now is go to this guy's house. Because he might know something. So they do. They head to his house. Annie's there, but she's hiding from them.
Well, they find him first, don't they?
Yeah, they find his body under the train yard.
Yeah. And then they go, oh, yeah, we'll go to his house.
Yeah. And
we're still not bothered about our missing prisoner.
No, she just happens to be hiding from them in this house, which they never notice. And then suddenly we cut back and Annie's now back at her own house.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to catch up with my notes because she sneaks past them, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Gets out of Walter's house. And she's suddenly back at her house.
Yeah.
So they've missed her. And she's walked back.
Or got the train, maybe. I don't know.
Either they missed her car, or she's a really fast walker.
Absolutely not a clue.
All roads just lead back to this farmhouse, I guess.
And if you think this film makes no sense to this point, the next thing I'm going to tell you is crazy.
Yeah.
Paul shows up. Paul is fine.
Yeah. Paul, who was last
shotgunned.
Seen sequentially, at least, if not linearly, he was being loaded onto a gurney because he's been shot
at point blank range by a shotgun.
With a shotgun.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's fine.
I think this is the next day. Am I wrong?
I mean, I think she's only been in prison overnight.
Yeah. She got arrested for shooting Paul. She got questioned, charged, and sent off at night. So it could even be the same night. And then this is the next day.
She's certainly not in prison for weeks with her daughter missing for weeks.
I think this is less than 24 hours after he got shot. I
mean, why isn't this a bigger story? Man completely recovers from shock.
There's absolutely no ill effects whatsoever. He's absolutely fine.
I thought I was going crazy.
I know, because you text me. And you're like, what? Yeah. How was this guy all right?
Because I think I said in the text, I don't, because we never talk about the films. We don't. Until we come and record this. But I just said, I have to check this. Why is their husband back? He got a shot.
I hadn't got to that point yet. And I was like, I don't know. And then I text you like 5 minutes later. I was like, I have no clue what's going on. Paul's decided he's going to be the hero in this now. Because he can survive shock. He's virtually immortal. So he heads down to the basement because he's going to check this lift to see what's going on. So he suddenly believes her all of a sudden because he never has done before. Much like Walter, Paul has not got much of a plan either.
No.
Because he heads into this lift and instantly gets attacked by them.
He does.
The lights get him, basically, and now he's disappeared. So Annie decides she's going to go to look for him. So she heads down to the basement.
She ignored him when he first walked in the house.
Yeah, completely.
But now she's heard a commotion in the basement. She's thought she better check it out.
Annie gets a shot into one of these monsters. She manages to shoot one and then runs away from it, and then it disappears. It's gone.
Yeah, so she closes the basement door behind her, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She, like you say, she gets a shot off at it.
Yeah. Then when she opens the door again, it's not there. Meanwhile, the sheriff showed up. She's standing in the hallway of the house and has now seen...
About fucking time.
Yeah, has now seen Annie emerge from the basement with a shotgun. So she obviously pulls her gun, says, Annie, drop your gun. Not Annie, get your gun. And she does, so Annie puts the gun down. Suddenly, one of the monsters is now behind the sheriff, and I've written, shakes her to death. Because it just violently grabbed her and shook her really hard. And then
I think it was poor direction and a bad cut, because I think we were supposed to think the alien... So instead of like zapping her with its light, it literally just shoved its hand into her back.
Yeah. And shook her.
She kind of like... Yeah.
Like she was a ventriloquist dummy.
Calcified, didn't she?
He kind of sucked all the life out of her. Annie now comes up with a great plan of going to hide under the kitchen table.
Always a winner.
Yep. And it works because the monster gets on top of the table and can't find her.
Yeah.
She then kills it with a lamp.
She stabs it with a lamp, of course she does.
And she's like, I can't shoot these things. They seem to be able to survive it, but I appear to be able to electrocute them.
Yeah, doesn't like electricity. Bullets, yeah.
Can handle bullets.
No effect. Electricity, aha.
I've got away. And guess what I've got in the house in the baby monitor box?
Well, you know the old saying, if you introduce a taser in Act 1, you've got to use it in Act 3.
So bad.
Chekhov's taser.
So she gets in this lift with this taser. She heads down in the lift and finds a hidden tunnel under the house.
I mean...
Because of course she does.
Yeah. It's fucking huge.
This elevator goes down into the tunnel as well. It doesn't stop at the basement. When she gets down there, she finds some, what I can describe as bodies in green pools of liquid.
Yeah, like desiccated kids.
Yeah, were we supposed to know who these were? Or are they just
I think they're just general missing kids. Yeah.
The only person down there who isn't in a pool is Paul. She finds him, and he's still alive.
Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah, he doesn't remember how he got there. He doesn't remember anything, but he is alive.
This guy has been, in the last 12 to 24 hours, he's taken a shotgun.
Yep.
He's recovered from that.
Yep.
He's been slashed and God knows what by an alien.
Yep.
No, fine.
These monsters don't kill this family. They will kill everybody else in their path, but for some reason will not kill this family.
Paul cannot be killed.
So they decide, right, Emily's probably down here somewhere. Let's go and find her. Because he says to her, where are we? And she's like, we're under the house. And he doesn't even question it. He's like, oh, okay, there's a cave under the house. So they decide, right, we'll go and find Emily. And instantly, pretty much, they turn around the corner and they find Emily. Yeah. And a monster's feeding off her. It's kind of just hovering over and sucking all the life out of her. So Paul says, right, Annie, here's my car key. And I'm sorry for not believing you earlier. And then
Paul's like cock of the walk now. He's like, pretty sure I'm invincible. I'll go and distract the alien.
So he decides to go and distract this alien. Well, it's not an alien, it's a monster. Which it does. It runs after him, and Annie goes to rescue Emily. Emily won't wake up until she does, and she says, "I knew you would come for me, Mummy."
I just picked her up and ran. Yeah. I don't know why we had to wait
for her. She had to wait for her to wake up. The monster then eats Paul.
Yeah, Paul is not invincible. As it turns out,
Paul is less than invincible. Annie shoots this monster, and they kind of already she knows it doesn't work, but she shoots it anyway. And then they go back up in the lift, and Annie, where on earth she got the petrol from, I don't know, but she manages to get some petrol.
It's a farm. You can kind of...
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the probably... I'll give them that one.
Okay, fair enough. She pours the petrol down this lift shaft, and then around the house. And then suddenly, an arm bursts through the floorboards and grabs her leg. And it crawls through and starts sucking her life out of her with the light. And at this point she thinks, I've got a taser.
Yeah.
So she tasers this alien and then shoots... It's not an alien, it's a monster. Then she shoots it after she's tasered it. And then...
Might be an alien. Oh no, it's humanoid. You're right.
And then she gets her lighter out and she slowly flicks it into the petrol and sets the house on fire. And one of the aliens is also on fire. And they leave. They get away. Emily and Annie leave in Paul's car. As the house burns in the background.
Unbelievably, there's not a monster in the car.
Yep.
They make a clean getaway.
And Emily turns to Annie and she says, "Is it dead, Mummy?" And she says, "Yes, sweetie, it's dead." But it's not. Because we get...
Well, it is.
Well, we get a little bit of a thing where it looks like there's some more in the fields, doesn't it?
Yeah, because there was more than one light, and there always was.
Yeah, there was. So that one's dead. But the rest of them aren't.
Yeah.
They've just lost the way to get into their tunnel. And then the film ends.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Absolute nonsense.
Absolute garbage.
Like, it's just literally nonsensical.
Yeah, completely. It doesn't make... There's no story there whatsoever. I'm pretty sure the timelines don't add up anyway. Pretty sure if you go into it a bit deeper. Because as far as I can see, the last time the original timeline gets used is when the sheriff takes Emily back to the house. And then the next scene after that, in theory, should be the first scene from the film.
Yes.
So there's a big chunk missing.
Yeah. So how long is between that?
Exactly.
And why did they stay in the house so long?
Why did they stay in the house at all?
Yeah, after the first night when you hear something in the walls.
Just leave.
The fact that the dad didn't take them home, it's all just convenient to get to the next scene.
But also...
None of it links up.
What are these things and why are they in this house?
How has no one ever noticed them before if her and her mum lived there for years and years?
Yeah, and
these kids have all gone missing over years and years.
Why have they suddenly started now? Why have they come out of the woodwork now?
They were never interested in Annie when she was little.
No.
Because it is implied that, I guess, this is what drove her mum mad as well.
Yeah, I guess so. It was implied that. It was never implicitly told that. You had a man in this film who could have explained everything and doesn't. And that's a criminal offence. Yeah. There's no explanation in this film and the story is non-existent. There is no story because of that. It's just...
So all these things have just turned up in the last... Let's say she's not been there for 10 years, even though she says she has because she was looking after her mum, and that's why they put the lift in. At some point in the last couple of years, these things have just turned up and made this place their home and carved this intricate cave system.
Even though Walter's been studying them for his entire life.
Yeah. And there's like loads of missing kids under there. It makes no sense. And there's an invincible man in this film.
Yeah.
For no reason.
That is correct. The fact that the filmmakers haven't spotted that because they got so... I presume they just got so lost in their timelines they didn't know what they were doing.
I'm not sure there was much proofreading. No. Well, the film version of proofreading.
You know me, I'm quite forgiving of bad horror. I will let most things slide in horror films for obvious reasons. But for this is criminally bad. You can't forgive it.
I've said it before. I cannot emphasize enough how lazy this is.
It's so lazy. It's one of the most lazy films I've ever seen.
Scene to scene just doesn't link up or make sense.
Nothing makes sense.
From the last scene. It is unbelievable.
There's no reason for it to be... Why is there a cornfield there? Just because cornfields appear in horror films. You get a close-up on this scarecrow a few times. It's never mentioned once. It's just a scary scarecrow, because scarecrows are scary because of Stephen King. Every horror film cliche is in this film.
It kind of feels like it's just been patched together from... Here's a load of footage. I mean, just see what you can see if you can patch it together.
This is just
make
like the best bits of all the horror films.
The movie you can.
Yeah, it's the best bits from all the horror films from the last.
I mean literally, someone who's not filmed this has been given all the footage.
Make a film here
and been told piece this together as best as you can to make sense.
Because it's awful. It's so awful, and I don't say that about many horror films. I am quite forgiving for horror, but this is terrible.
It's not. You can be. Yeah, but I understand how you can be forgiving of a horror because you don't necessarily need it to totally make sense if you are getting the scares or whatever. Yeah. But there's nothing.
There's no scares. There's no story, and none of it makes sense. And it's basically filmed out of order for no reason.
Yeah.
You could put this film in the right order, and it would be just as bad as it is.
I thought I was malfunctioning. That's how screwed up this film was.
I hated this. I absolutely hated this so much because it's unforgivable to just be that bad.
I checked the time as I was going through this, and I was like, "Oh, I'm nowhere near far through this as I thought."
I did exactly the same thing. When she sat down with Walter, I'm like, "Oh, there's probably only 15, 20 minutes left," because it felt like it was coming to a conclusion at that point, and there was 40 minutes left.
What I'm trying to say is, I guess it kind of dragged, but it didn't, because I checked the time a couple of times. I was like, "Oh, it's only 10 minutes since I last checked." I'm sure it was half an hour. Yeah. But having said that, I didn't. I wasn't considering sort of not that I can turn it off anyway. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? It wasn't quite that level for me.
It didn't feel like it was never going to end. But
it's awful.
It's so bad.
It's the second worst humanoids film we've seen, and the first one wasn't good.
That's true.
Last season we watched Humanoids from the Deep, and that was bad. I think this is worse.
I agree.
Humanoids from the Corn.
So that brings us nicely to the stream table. So shall we talk stream table?
Yeah.
So this is going to be the 19th film that enters this stream table. Where am I going to... I presume I'm reading from the bottom.
Yes, let's read bottom up.
So
let's see how far
currently in 18th on the stream table is Swiped. 17th is Aerials. 16th is Malevolent. 15th is Life Force. 14th Deadcon. I don't think I need to go any higher than that.
No. I mean, I think it's fairly easy for me.
Go on.
My start of a 10 is that it goes between Aerials and Malevolent.
Yeah, I could get on board. It isn't as good as Malevolent, and that's saying something because Malevolent's hot garbage. Aerials is terrible, but do you have to give Aerials? I don't know. Do you have to give Aerials some sort of dispensation because of what it is?
It's the worst acting I've ever seen.
But it's made by people who have never made films before. These people are filmmakers who have made this. There's proper actors.
Aerials is the longest hour and 20-minute film I've ever watched in my life.
I'd happily watch this film go to the bottom of this stream table, but
so I definitely think that's not out of the question. I think the way I see it with these is that Malevolent, as you say, is a terrible film.
Yeah.
But it's a level above this bottom three. Yeah. They are on an island, and they are all amongst the worst films I've ever seen. Swiped, Aerials, and Darklight are all terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I can put this below Aerials or Swiped. I don't think I can.
The three of them are so close together, though. They literally should all three be tied at the bottom because they're all garbage.
If they'd have just laced this one together a bit it wouldn't be in the same conversation as those two.
No, probably not.
This is down there for different reasons for me. I mean, Swipes is just morally terrible.
An abomination.
Makes
how
no
you described
sense.
it on the website.
Yeah. Aerials is
completely nonsensical and unintentionally hilarious, according to your write-up.
Yeah. That's true. Also, and this is lazy. And is that a worse crime? That's what you've got to ask, I guess.
It's just lazy and poorly made.
Because, like you say, the creatures in this are pretty cool.
The only thing it's got going for it is the creature design is all right.
Like, sorry, I can't remember the lady who stars in this. What did you say? Someone Madsen?
Yep, I did say that. I put my notes away, I don't know.
She's okay.
Yeah.
She's fine.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The acting isn't bad. It's really badly made and really badly written. And it's directed and written by the same guy. So he just has to take all the credit for it, I'm afraid. I'm happy with it going above Aerials. But all three of those films should be tied bottom. Because they're all equally as bad as each other. Yeah?
Yeah, this is
16th.
This is not good. Yeah.
Wow. We're on too much at the bottom. We need to move to the top of the table. We've not had anything near the top.
The randomizer.
The randomizer is really playing with us this season.
Yeah, we are at the mercy of the randomizer.
Yes. We need to turn the tide on Dark Light. How are you making this film better? Can I just put it in the right order? Well, it doesn't need to have two timelines.
No, that's true.
Put it in the right order. It's trying to be too clever for itself, and it doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need the gimmick. We've seen this is a common complaint for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Movies don't need to be as clever as they're trying to be.
No. Just tell your story.
Story first, gimmick later.
Yeah. Story, characters, gimmick. That's the way you should be looking at it. If you've got good characters and you can tell a good story, you're going to get a decent film. Your gimmick has to come later on. And this film doesn't need a gimmick. It's got a gimmick. It's got monsters with lights for heads. You don't need to split it and flip it around all over the place in the timeline.
You've got a good monster. Like a memorable design.
And you never use it.
Like, you
don't explain what it is or use it properly. It's unforgivable, this film. I'm so disappointed by it. So
just make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Put it in the right order.
Fill in the gaps.
There's definitely a gap between the two timelines that isn't explained.
I'm not asking for much here. I'm not gonna say turn it into a full-on alien invasion movie and spend $100 million. I'm trying to be realistic and say just why was she on the roof? Just make it make sense.
Put it in the right order. Fill in. You've definitely got a gap.
What were the nosebleeds about?
Yeah.
What did they mean? When Walter says, "Oh, your nose is bleeding," that means we haven't got long left.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What does any of this mean?
How did Paul survive his shotgun wound?
Absolutely. How did he survive his shotgun wound?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I would just put it in the right order and fill in. There's definitely a gap between the two timelines. Fill that in. You've got a better film.
Other than that, just fucking burn
put it in the sea.
Yeah.
Shall we pick next week's film?
Yes,
Episode
please.
20. There's only 5 left after next week. What are you looking for? What do you want?
Let's go for a. Let's have a drama. Let's get our teeth into something a bit performancey. Okay. I feel like we've not been.
I agree.
Had our socks knocked off from like
a really good story and really good.
Even if the film shit. Well, I was going to say even if the film's I can't speak. Even if the film shit. Yeah. Then let's have a couple of good performances that really make us sit back.
Fair enough. I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
I am.
It has picked a film called Alex Strangelove.
Okay.
Now, Alex Strangelove is an original that's been on the long list since the beginning. It's survived.
Yeah, I have. I recall definitely having seen it.
Survived almost 100 presses of that randomizer, but it's finally come out. Do you know what it is? Any ideas?
I think it's like a teen type drama, but I may be way off base.
No, you're right. It's a comedy, drama, romance, a rom-com dram. It's a Netflix original. It says, Alex, high school class president, nerd, and straight-A student, has been dating Claire a long time. They decide to sleep together, but then he meets a gay guy and he's confused. Ooh, cool. Drama. It's got the kid from The Package in it.
Oh, okay.
What's his name? Daniel Dehenny.
It's certainly very different to this week's.
It certainly is.
That is what is so cool about the random.
Yeah, we never do the same thing 2 weeks in a row, do we? So yeah, check out Alex Strangelove, and in the meantime, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, where you will find us at BOTS_podcast. Facebook.com/bottom of the stream. The website is bottomofthestream.com. On there, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded. You'll find all the stream tables, loads of other cool stuff, including some merch. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. If you join us on Patreon, it costs you a couple of quid every month. You'll get early access to the episodes. You'll get bonus episodes. Nick writes a newsletter every month. We've got some stickers we can send out to you. And if you come in at a certain level, you'll get a wild card, so you can pick one of the films. Still 2 wild cards left to play in this season. Only 5 episodes left. Also, check us out on Discord. We mentioned Discord earlier on. Come and check us out. You'll see the link in the bottom of the show notes. Literally, press that and you'll be there.
Yeah, if you can't do any of that, then please consider leaving us a review anywhere that you can review podcasts. That could be Podbean, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else, because that really helps people find us.
It does, indeed.
It helps the algorithm. Any of those reviews, feedback, much appreciated. If you can't do that, maybe you could find a cornfield and leave us a review in the form of a crop circle.
Nice. That'd be cool. So you could see it from space.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Talking of podcast apps, I quickly want to mention the Cephalopod app that's just launched. It's a podcasting app that is fantastic, run by a few friends of ours in the podcast world. And they're just trying to start out. They're starting a new way for people to make money from podcasting. So check out Cephalopod. You'll find it on the Play Store, and I think it's now on the iOS store as well. It's really good. I've been listening to all my podcasts on it. So
it is on iOS because I have it as well. So yeah, check it out.
Cephalopod, it's called. It's got a green logo. You'll find it easily. So do that, and then check out Alex Strangelove, and we'll come back next week to talk to you about it. Bye. Cheers.